you do not need to get lean right now. That should not be your main focus. Now, I'm saying this because there are different, I would say, archetypes when it comes to the gym, different backgrounds. There are the guys that start skinny, there are the guys that start fat, and personally for me, I always identify more the fat side of things. And so a lot of people feel like in that stage that they feel like they need to get lean to get their physique. Let me show you a picture of my physique in like 2022, right? I would say I was falling into that skinny fat category, right? Like I wasn't like skinny, like I wasn't like bones only, but I also wasn't like shredded, and I also wasn't like fat with a big belly, but I was skinny fat. I didn't have enough muscle to fill out my frame fully, and I had enough fat as to where that I had a little bit of a jiggle in my belly. And so I remember being at that time looking like that, and honestly wanting to look kind of how I look right now. If I show you right now, right? And in my mind, because I had spent so much time in the gym, I knew I was strong relative to the average person. I was like, bro, I'm only a cut away from doing this. And so I was always focused on getting leaner to reveal the muscle. I was always trying to get leaner, trying to get smaller. Like I very rarely went to the gym with the idea of like, let me put on size and get bigger. And so I did that a few times. And like, I was a bit more experienced. I didn't really understand how to cut. I didn't have my systems in place like I do now. And then like, so I never really finished it fully. And B, because I was under muscled and misdiagnosing my problem, which we'll get into. When I was doing my cut, I would get halfway, and then I'll be like, "Yo, where the hell is the muscle I'm revealing? I thought I was gonna reveal muscle." Everyone told me that when I get lean, I'll look bigger, and I was like, "Why do I look like a small shrimp shriveled version of myself?" And it took me a long time to figure out the issue. Is that everyone, whether you are a skinny guy or you are a bigger guy, your main goal is always muscle. Your priority is muscle. Obviously, when you're trying to bulk, right? We understand that as being to try and put on muscle, right? But even if you're cutting and trying to lose weight, the main factor you're thinking about should not be fat loss. It's not really about how much fat can I lose. No, it's actually supposed to be how much muscle can I maintain. You see, next to money itself, next to, I'm in Canada, next to the Canadian dollar, in my world, the second most important currency to me is muscle. There's a reason why. If you show me a guy who is 300 pounds fat, and show me a guy the same height who's 300 pounds lean with zero body fat, the guy who's 300 pounds fat is gonna look like ass. The guy that's 300 pounds lean is gonna look like a Greek god. Now, is he gonna look like a Greek god because has no body fat? No, because I can show you a guy that's 200 pounds or 100 pounds lean with zero body fat who looks like shit. The 300 pound lean guy looks like that because of how much muscle he has. And so when it comes to this gym shit, the physique building, the health and lifestyle, muscle is the most important currency. It is the most valuable thing. If someone was to rob me right now and they said, "Yo, run me your pockets," right? I'll be happy. I'll be happier about that than if he said, "Yo, give me your muscle." If that makes sense. Like that is the key to everything in this gym life, in health, the longevity. One of the markers that tells you you're gonna live longer is muscle. When it comes to just putting on a shirt or like a tank top and just looking good, it's not really the body fat percentage. It's the muscle that makes you stand out. It's the muscle that increases your metabolism. See, when you have more muscle, you're a heavier person, but that heaviness is from muscle. And so you can now eat so much more food and stay lean because your body requires it. You're almost like building a machine that just requires so much more fuel to run. And so the more fuel you put in, it doesn't spill over. It actually gets used by the muscle. It gets used by the machinery. Muscle should be the focus of everything. And so a lot of people, I see it at my gym all the time, they come up to me and they're like, "Yo, really, like, I know you're a coach. So like, do you think you can give me some free sauce on like how to like get lean and like get leaner?" And I'll be like, "Yo, show me, lift it up," right? They'll show me, and I'll see like a little bit of fat, and I get where they're coming from because I see a little bit of fat, but it's enough to the point where they can jiggle it. So they're insecure about it, right? But then when they put that shirt down, I look at their arms. The arms are twigs. I look at their face is pretty lean. They have no muscle in their body, but they think that what they need is to lose weight and become smaller and almost reduce the power of the machinery. I'm like, bro, you're trying to become a rat when you should be trying to become a Ferrari or a truck. Especially when you're young, bro, put on as much muscle as you can. Because the older you get, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? And so when you're healthy, you have time, you have the energy, you have the food available to you, you have the finances. When you're in that ideal condition, your goal should always be to put on as much muscle as possible. Now, I'm going to take you through another lens now. So I actually understood this, right? I showed you my before, right? And when I understood this, I was like, okay, boom, let's put on muscle. And so I did a dirty bulk. Now, what does a dirty bulk mean and why is it bad? So a dirty bulk is when, to put on muscle in general, you have to eat in a caloric surplus. A caloric surplus is when these are the amount of calories you have to eat to maintain your weight. A surplus is when you eat anything above that. A caloric deficit is when you take this calories that is required to maintain your weight and you eat below that. So to gain weight, you need to be in a caloric surplus, right? Now, a dirty bulk is when you take that maintenance calories and you put it all the way up here. You're eating so much more calories than your maintenance calories that your body cannot use all that those calories to build muscle, and so a lot of it will spill over into fat. A lean bulk is when you take that maintenance calories and you go just here, right? You go just above your maintenance. So I would do dirty bulks, and like there was so many problems with that. The first problem is that all food is not equal. So even if you were to eat, right, in a large caloric surplus, but you eat whole foods, your body is going to respond to that a lot different than if you're eating the same amount of foods, the same amount of calories, but you're eating fast food. Fast food equals inflammation, right? It equals bloating. And so all these things, they actually affect how your body operates and indirectly affects how efficiently you build muscle, right? When your body's trying to rid inflammation, when your body is bloated, it cannot absorb and digest the protein and the carbs and the fats the same way as if your body is clean and just using good fuel, right? So I was doing that. I was going to KFC like an idiot and eating KFC after the gym, right? The second problem with that is dirty bulking is that once you start to eat so much higher than your maintenance, right? Now your body will start to put on a bit more fat than it needs to, right? And so I think the old school bodybuilders, they had the notion that, you gotta eat big to get big. But the thing is that eating in a large surplus versus eating in a small surplus, the extra gains you get by eating that much more food is almost nothing. It's like maybe 0.01%. So you could either do a lean bulk and gain, let's say, 5 pounds of muscle and 1 pound of fat, or you could do a dirty bulk and gain 5.01 pounds of muscle and 20 pounds of fat. You see what I mean? Like, it's limiting returns. And so aesthetically now, yes, you've bulked, but we can't even really see the muscle because you just look fat now. The fat is covering the muscle. And so then now you got to get lean. You got to spend so much time getting rid of that fat. And the longer you do a cut, the more muscle you're going to lose. So boom, you gain that muscle, right? And the fat. And then to reveal it, you lose the fat and the muscle you built. So you're in the same place. So that's another negative. And then again, the more fat you are, the more fatty you are. If right now you're like 25% body fat, if you try and bulk the same way that someone would when they're 12% body fat, the 12% guy is going to be more efficient at using that nutrient stable muscle than you because you're fatter and you are more resistant to insulin. Insulin is the transporter that basically helps your body to move nutrients to the muscles to build. And so when you're fatter, kind of imagine that transporter insulin as being a lot less efficient. He's shit at his job, right? So that is why in the process of focusing on muscle, it should be done in a very slow and sustainable way so that you do stay lean. Because yes, even though muscle is important, for us to put on more muscle, we need to be lean. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of people kind of view it as, oh, I want to be lean to look good. But the way I look at it is, I want to be lean so I can put more muscle on. Do you get what I'm saying? So the focus should always be on muscle. But a lot of people are so focused on getting shredded and looking lean because they think that with one cut from where they are, they're going to look like those influencers, David Labe, doing that pose like that. That's how they think they're going to look. But it's like, bro, you have zero muscle on your body. And so you need to spend a long time with that emphasis on building muscle. If you check my videos, I have a decent explanation on the way that you should be training to prioritize building muscle, the most efficient way to build muscle. I'll link it right here if I remember. Hopefully I remember. You should be spending a lot of your time, as a gym rat, 99% of your time should be spent building muscle. For the short periods where you want to get lean, maybe to go on a trip, whatever, yes, you can cut. But even then, when you're getting lean, remember, your priority is not to lose fat. Your priority is to maintain muscle, right? And even if you're not going on a trip, right? If you want to do a cut for your own health or whatever you want to do, that cut, you should view it as an opportunity to gain more muscle after, right? You are not going to get too bulky. I hope people that watch my channel don't have that thought, because if you do, it's not for me. It's not for you, bro. Like, people that think like that, you should go do Pilates, bro. As a man in the gym, put on a muscle. There is no amount of muscle you are going to put on naturally. And bro, even if you take steroids, bro, the amount of people taking steroids that I see, bro, that do not look too bulky is most people. Like, you are not going to look too bulky, okay? any pound of muscle you put on, you should be celebrating that like you won the lottery, because you do not put on that. Most people put on about average like 5 pounds of muscle a year. And that's if you're super dialed, all your meals are good, you have good genetics. And so if you could put on 1 pound of muscle with an extra month of doing a proper bulk versus getting lean and losing muscle, bro, the first option wins every single day, because muscle is the most expensive currency, right? Don't worry about your weight. Don't worry about getting lean too much. Focus on putting on lean muscle, right? It is such a privilege to have access to these gyms, to have access to coaches that can program your workouts and teach you the systems and the methods to do this. By the way, if you want help with that, hit me up at Really Strong on Instagram, or hit the link in this description here to book a call with me. You have access to all these resources, right? While you have it, before World War III starts, before whatever happens, before you get injured, put on the muscle, build the machinery, super boost the metabolism, and maintain that physique for as long as you want. Eating what you want, enjoying life, looking aesthetic, because you prioritize muscle over anything.